You have a problem. And it is not the situation you are facing right now. It is not the person who said something wrong to you. It is not the job you lost, the argument you had, or the moment that did not go your way. Your problem is the speed at which you react to all of it. That is the real issue. Not what happened, how fast you moved after it happened. Sit with that for a moment. Most people spend their entire lives believing that their problems come from the outside, from other people, from circumstances, from bad luck, from the world being unfair. And so they keep waiting for the world to change, waiting for people to be different, waiting for life to finally become easy. But the world does not change for you. People do not suddenly become who you need them to be. And life does not slow down and ask you how you are feeling before it throws something at you. What actually changes your life is what you do in the 2 seconds after something hits you. 2 seconds, that is the window. That tiny, invisible moment between what happens to you and what you do about it. Most people do not even know that window exists. They move through it so quickly, so automatically, so emotionally, that by the time they realize what they have done, the damage is already there. The words are already said. The decision is already made. The relationship is already cracked. And they stand there wondering why their life keeps producing the same painful results. They never look at the 2 seconds. They only look at the situation. But you are going to start looking at the 2 seconds. Think about the last time you reacted too fast. Not the big moments, the small ones. Someone said something that irritated you, and you responded before they even finished their sentence. Someone made a decision you disagreed with, and you felt anger rise in your chest before you even understood their reasoning. You received a message that unsettled you, and you replied immediately. From that unsettled place, you were under pressure, and instead of thinking clearly, you acted from the pressure itself. You know exactly what I am talking about. You have felt this. Everyone has. But here is what most people never acknowledge. That reaction, it felt justified. In the moment, it felt completely justified. The anger felt reasonable. The quick response felt necessary. The emotional decision felt right. Because that is what emotions do. They convince you, in real time, that what you are feeling is the truth, that your interpretation of the situation is accurate, that the speed of your response is proof of your conviction. Think about that. The moments where you are least equipped to make good decisions are the moments where you are most likely to make permanent ones. Words spoken in anger do not disappear after the anger fades. Decisions made under emotional pressure do not undo themselves when the pressure lifts. Relationships fractured by impulsive reactions do not simply heal because you later felt calmer. The consequences of your reactions do not wait for you to feel better before they take effect. This is the hidden cost of reacting too fast. Not just the immediate regret, the compounding damage, the trust that slowly erodes, the opportunities that quietly disappear, the reputation that gradually shifts in other people's minds, the self-respect that fades a little more every time you look back and realize you acted from emotion, not from intention. And the most painful part? Most of those moments were avoidable. Not by changing the situation, by changing the speed of your response to it. There is a profound difference between a reaction and a response. A reaction is automatic. It is fast, emotional, and driven by whatever you are feeling in that exact second. It requires no skill. It requires no thought. Anyone can react. Children react. People in crisis react. Animals react. A reaction is what happens when you have not trained yourself to do anything else. A response is different. A response is deliberate. It is chosen. It comes from a place of awareness rather than impulse. A response says, I see what is happening here. I understand what I am feeling, and I am going to choose what I do next, rather than simply executing what my emotions demand. A reaction happens to you. A response is made by you. That distinction is everything. Now think about the people you genuinely respect. Not the loudest ones, not the most aggressive ones, not the ones who snap back the fastest or dominate conversations with the most force. Think about the people who actually carry weight in the world. The ones whose words land with gravity. The ones who enter a difficult situation and somehow make it feel more manageable. The ones who, when everything around them is escalating, become quieter, more still, more focused. Those people are not reacting. They are watching. They are thinking. They are waiting for the right moment. And then they are responding with precision. That stillness is not passivity. It is not weakness. It is not indifference. It is one of the most difficult things a human being can do under pressure. It is the product of self-mastery, of training, of choosing again and again to delay the impulse long enough to think, and it changes everything. A few seconds of control can prevent years of consequences. Let that settle. A few seconds. That is all it takes. Not hours of meditation, not years of therapy. Not some extraordinary transformation of your entire personality, just a few seconds. Positioned between what hits you and what you do about it. A few seconds where you breathe instead of speak. Where you observe instead of react. Where you ask yourself one question, is what I am about to do or say aligned with the kind of person I am trying to become? That question, in that moment, is the entire practice. Because emotional control is not a state you arrive at. It is a practice you return to. Every single day, in small moments and large ones, in the quiet irritations and the genuine crises. It is the discipline of noticing when the impulse rises and choosing not to be ruled by it. Here is how it begins. It begins with the pause, just the pause. Before you respond to the message, you pause. Before you speak in the argument, you pause. Before you make the decision under pressure, you pause. Not forever, not dramatically, just long enough to take one breath, long enough to notice what you are feeling. Long enough to ask whether what you are about to do is a reaction or a choice. The pause is not weakness. The pause is power. Because in that pause, you reclaim authorship over your own behavior. You move from automatic to intentional. You become the one directing your life instead of simply being moved by it. After the pause comes observation. You learn to observe your own internal state without immediately acting on it. You feel the anger and you note it without letting it speak for you. You feel the frustration and you acknowledge it without letting it make your decisions. You feel the urge to defend yourself, to strike back, to prove your point right now. And you watch that urge with a kind of quiet curiosity without obeying it. This is not suppression. Suppressing emotion is simply pushing it underground, where it will grow in pressure and eventually rupture. Observation is different. Observation says, I see you. I know you are there. I am not going to pretend you do not exist, but I am also not going to let you run my life in this moment. You are allowed to feel everything. You are not obligated to act on everything you feel. Then comes silence. Intentional silence. Not the silence of defeat or submission. The silence of someone who understands that not every moment requires their voice. That not every provocation deserves a response. That not every question needs to be answered in real time. Some of the most powerful communication in your life will be the things you chose not to say. The arguments you refused to enter. The bait you recognized and did not take. Silence, used with awareness, is not absence, it is presence. It is a statement. It says, I am in control of this. This situation does not control me. And over time, as you practice the pause, the observation, and the intentional silence, something begins to shift inside you. You stop being moved by everything. Not because you stop caring, because you stop being ruled by every fluctuation of feeling. The small irritations that used to ignite you begin to lose their power. The pressure that used to cloud your thinking begins to feel more manageable. The moments that used to pull a reaction out of you automatically begin to require a decision from you instead. That is the shift. From automatic to intentional. From reactive to responsive. From someone things happen to someone who happens. Now consider two people. They encounter the same difficult moment, the same frustration, the same provocation, the same unexpected blow. The first person reacts immediately. The anger rises, and they follow it. The words come fast and sharp. The decision gets made in the heat of the moment. They feel justified, even powerful, in that instant. But hours later, they are managing the fallout, repairing what was damaged, explaining what they said, wishing they had done it differently. The situation passed, but the consequences remained. And somewhere inside them, quietly, the self-respect eroded a little more. The second person feels the same anger, the same frustration, the same impulse. But they pause. They breathe. They observe what is happening inside them without immediately externalizing it. They wait until they can speak from clarity rather than from emotion. And when they finally respond, it is measured, it is precise, it is aligned with what they actually intend. The situation still happened, but the consequences are entirely different. Same event, two completely different outcomes, produced entirely by the space between the event and the response. That space is where your character lives. That space is where your power is built or surrendered, one moment at a time. Patience is not waiting. Most people misunderstand patience. They think it means passively enduring things, suffering quietly, doing nothing. But real patience is active. It is the conscious decision to let time do what impulse cannot. It is the understanding that most situations do not require your immediate reaction. They require your eventual considered response. Patience is not slow because it is weak. It is slow because it is accurate. Self-control is not restriction. It is not the absence of feeling or the denial of instinct. Self-control is the highest form of personal freedom, because the person who cannot control themselves is not free. They are governed by their moods, by their triggers, by whoever and whatever manages to provoke them on any given day. True freedom is the ability to choose your behavior regardless of what you are feeling. That is not restriction. That is sovereignty. Emotional intelligence is not softness. In a world that often mistakes loudness for strength and aggression for confidence, emotional intelligence is quietly one of the most powerful capabilities a person can develop. The ability to read a situation accurately, to understand what others are feeling without being destabilized by it. To manage your own internal world with enough discipline that it does not constantly spill into your external one. These are not soft skills. They are rare skills. And they compound year after year into something that quiet, reactive people simply cannot build. Long-term thinking is the antidote to short-term emotion. The question that changes everything is not, what do I want to do right now? It is, who do I want to be 5 years from now? What do I want my relationships to look like? What reputation do I want to carry? What kind of decisions do I want to have made when I look back on this period of my life? When you are anchored in those questions, the urgency of the immediate reaction begins to lose its grip. The provocation that felt enormous begins to feel small in the context of what you are actually building. Your reactions, over a lifetime, become your story. Every moment where you chose control over impulse, you added a paragraph of integrity to that story. Every moment where you acted deliberately instead of automatically, you built something in yourself that cannot be taken away. And every moment where you paused long enough to choose the better response, you became, quietly and incrementally, someone more capable of the life you actually want. This is not a dramatic transformation. It is not a moment of sudden inspiration. It is the slow, steady, invisible work of choosing again and again in ordinary moments to respond rather than react, to think before you speak, to feel without being governed by feeling, to encounter difficulty without immediately becoming difficult. It is simple. It is not easy. And it is the most important work you will ever do on yourself. Pause, breathe, observe, choose. Not because someone is watching, not because the stakes are high, because you are building something in yourself that matters more than winning any single moment. You are building the person who responds with intention to everything that life places in front of them. That is the most powerful version of you. And it has been waiting inside the pause all along. Comment, I choose control.